What's up, jobbers? It's the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, is Nestlemania alongside for the ride is not JC, because he's a bachelor at a bachelor party. He's not the bachelor. But anyway, I've got a suitable replacement. My friend, my dear friend, I'm very excited. A man that prefers Crown Royale instead of Crown Jewel, Dommy Feds. Dommy, I'm excited to have you on the show, bud.
I'm excited to be here. What's going on, Nestle? How are you?
I'm great. We had an iffy night on Monday Night Raw. We had a good time on Crown Jewel. SmackDown was a thing. So I think we should probably start at the positivity train here. We'll start with Crown Jewel.
Okay.
I'm curious.
Okay.
We'll start off with Brock and Lashley.
Yeah.
Two big hosses going 6 minutes. Very quick. You saw the knee thing happen early in the stairs, and it was a great sell job. But then the ending was a little, they did the Bret Hart turnbuckle flip spot, which I get because I'm a big Bret Hart guy.
Tough to do with two bigs.
I think in theory, on paper, they drew it up and they thought, wow, this is a good idea. And then they didn't realize that two muscle-bound idiots like this, Lashley's shoulders couldn't be down, right? So it's weird. Right. It's like Lashley won but didn't win, which I get.
It wasn't a pretty looking victory for Lashley. It wasn't a pretty looking victory for Brock. And the way they started the match was Brock was like pandering to the crowd more so than usual. And that's how he got attacked. I don't know if you picked up on that, but that needs to stop. So I don't know if that's going to be the start of like, okay, fun Brock going away. But Lashley attacking him because he was like pandering to the crowd and shit, and then just going on the attack was what kind of drew me into the match to begin with. And then Lashley just destroys him, but then Brock gets the win. So it's like, I don't know. I didn't love really how this match ended at all.
It does leave a lot to be
desired. I did like the way it began. What's that?
No, I did it. It definitely has a lot to be desired. Like you're sitting there going, oh, this should work. It doesn't. And now you're kind of like, on Monday, Bobby was like this unstoppable force. So it almost feels a little weird to me that it didn't end up going Bobby's way. But I get we're probably headed to a third match. But are you interested in the third match at this point?
Not really.
Really?
No,
okay.
I mean, I think Bobby after, yeah, I mean, we've seen it already. And like, how much more can they do? Like, Bobby Lashley is now, especially after, I know we can't jump ahead too much, but especially after his last night on his showing on Raw, like that's it for me. Like he came in, he beat down Brock. People aren't really going to remember that Brock won the match because we don't visualize him winning the match at the end. So they did a great job with that, even though it was sloppy as shit. And then Bobby destroys fucking everything last night.
That's a fair point.
Separate the two of them. Fix Brock Lesnar because now he has to go back to being the Beast. And I also have something on that for like later in the show for one of the the things we do.
That's what we call a tease in the biz.
So like I kind of just gave it away, but yeah. So fix Brock Lesnar now. Like fix Brock Lesnar. Bobby Lashley is exactly where you want him. I think. Like I've never been more interested in Bobby Lashley than right now. So keep that train moving and keep it away from Brock Lesnar. Go have Brock fix himself and then work with somebody else.
Okay, but honestly, we're at a point now, I believe, that like we don't have a lot more people for Brock Lesnar to realistically work with. It seems like he's kind of gone through the whole gambit of people. Unless they get some new bigs in there, it's not going to happen. I mean, it seems really odd to me that Bobby Lashley is still looking strong after losing, like a kind of an iffy finish. We get it. But what was the point of Brock winning? Just so we could have a third match at the Royal Rumble? Probably. It hurts my feelings a little bit.
That, and I think beating Brock Lesnar, like, that used to be something big. And now the fact that it's happened more often than not, especially on this whole, like,
looks like we may have lost him there, so I'm going to pick up where he is. Anyway, yeah, I tend to agree with you, Dom. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough going forward. But let's move on to something on Crown Jewel here. I'm going to go over to, the next thing, which I thought was pretty interesting, was Bliss's promo here. Bliss had a really interesting promo in the background. They had the Bray Wyatt logo while she was trying to do something. So it's tough. It's really, really tough because she's sitting there and she's thinking about it and she's talking and then she sees it and she gets flustered and she says, and then continues on. And then, of course, on Monday, we see something as well in the background while they're doing their entrances. So we're definitely interested in seeing what's going on. But it's tough, folks. I mean, it's tough out there because what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? And, they have this match out there, which I thought was very odd, where, Nikki Cross attacks the women. And of course, we're setting up for something bigger, obviously, for obvious reasons for War Games. But now I'm looking at it like, hey, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? And it's hard because now, like, they won on last Monday to win the tag titles. Now they're going over somewhere where they went to Saudi Arabia to lose them again in only a week. It's bizarre. I don't know exactly what we're going on to, but it is tough. It's very, very tough. And I don't know exactly where to go with it. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens with Bliss and Wyatt, I guess. But at that point, what exactly can you do? It's difficult. But, moving on, I'm going to move on because Dommy's trying to get his internet figured out here. But the one thing I will say is moving on to a cage match, which had Cross and the McIntyre, as we call him, the Mac. But it's tough. It's really, really tough to enjoy. It's tough to enjoy a steel cage match. But McIntyre won, right? And McIntyre did a great job in this matchup. And he did a great job, which I thought was a better match than I thought it was, folks. But it's difficult to get interested in a steel cage match. And especially the ending was difficult, right? They had Scarlett come out there and they had Scarlett do the whole mace thing. And it was just tough. It was very, 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 very tough. And I don't know exactly what to say because it was better than expected, but the mace thing was odd. And then somehow, some way, even though the mace happened last time, that, it didn't affect him this much. He could climb and escape, which, again, does a babyface escaping a cage, does that make you interested? Does that make you happy? I don't know. I seriously don't know. But like I said, I can't really enjoy a cage match, and I'm really hoping that Cage separates both of these men now, like that we can have Cross go on to something else. We can have McIntyre go on to something else, but it's difficult. It's absolutely difficult to do, but it's tough because all you need to do is for it to kind of start over. And I think that's what we need here. We need something different. Moving on to what I think is probably something that I didn't expect to enjoy, which is a decent match. It was a 6-man tag. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but the OC versus, the Judgment Day, something I didn't expect for anybody to enjoy. But if you look at it from here, it's really something special, I think, because Rhea Ripley's been on such a tear. And it's hard. It's hard for many different reasons. And it's just not easy because Rhea Ripley's such a force, right? So you can't expect somebody to really enjoy it. You can't really enjoy it. But it's tough. It's really, really tough. But we'll get into other things, we'll get into other things down there. Hold on one second, folks. I'm trying to make everything work here. Here we go. Sorry. So moving on. What was the next thing? The crowd loved it. Oh, Strowman versus Omos. Now, folks, look, I did not expect Strowman versus Omos to be anything good. I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. on paper, I thought this was going to be very clunky, and it was to a certain extent. But god damn it, does Saudi Arabia love Braun Strowman? They just absolutely love Braun Strowman, and he showed out, and he showed out real well. And I just couldn't believe how good Braun Strowman looked. I thought Omos did great, but the one thing I thought was really bizarre here, folks, is just it's hard because it's difficult to enjoy a big versus big match because it's not going the way you think because they both have to kind of sell, which is something that was foreign. It looked like it was a little bit foreign to both of them a little bit, but I thought they did a great job. But Braun Strowman does have a lot of years of excellence, or years of experience anyway, being the big guy. But it's tough. It's really, really, really tough. Yeah, it's not easy going forward, but it is what it is, and the crowd won overall. That's all that matters. Moving on, Belair and Bayley. I thought this was a great fucking match. I thought I could not enjoy this match any more than I already did, and it was phenomenal. I enjoyed the golf cart. I thought the golf cart was wonderful. I thought just everything that was involved, the KOD on the chair, the ending, which I thought was super ingenious, folks. Super ingenious with the way they ended Belair versus Bayley, with having her underneath the turnbuckle wedged with the ladder was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. And I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe how good this was. And I think a lot of it goes to both of them because we've been kind of fatigued by Diamond Mine, Damage Control. But it is not something that is going to work out. But it's okay. Of course, Belair continues to win, Super Cena, but there's nothing we can do about that. She's doing a great job, so why would you want to fix this? But yeah, hey, Salzer's in here. Haven't watched Raw yet, no spoilers. Then why are you on this right now? Why aren't you watching Raw, you joker? Honest to God. But it's tough. This whole Saudi Arabia thing is tough because it's a lot of fun. They have good matches, some great matches, some not so great matches. Something else that happened on this was a Bray Wyatt promo. And when I lost interest in this was that Bray Wyatt flew across the world to cut a promo. And it is difficult for me to look at something and enjoy it. Like, I really enjoy Bray Wyatt, but he flew across the world to cut a promo. And honestly, here's the thing I want other people to know. It's hard. It's really, really hard for Bray Wyatt to be somewhere. Like, I'm looking at this going, is Bray Wyatt interested in doing this? Are we interested in him? Because it feels like he went to Saudi Arabia for a match or something monumental to happen to his character. And we kind of got a promo, at least in my eyes, we got a promo that didn't really mean anything. We had him say, I'm part of a wrestling family. I want to be, known for that. But let's be honest, folks, he had to be greater than great, like he said. But how do you feel about it, right? Like, how are you looking at it, thinking to yourself, oh, okay, Uncle Howdy interrupted me again. Like, let's not pretend we're somebody that we're not, and let's go. But when I'm watching this, I was hoping for something more. Maybe Uncle Howdy in the ring attacking him. Maybe something else from the Firefly Funhouse coming to life. Something. It's big. It's Saudi Arabia. Him having a promo, to me, didn't do anything for me. It just felt like it was a waste or just repetition. A lot of repetition. And it's hard. It's very, very, very hard. But you kind of get into it and you think, it is what it is. Moving on, the Usos defending their tag team titles against, that's right, the Brawling Brutes, in a match that I thought was freaking fantastic. There were sloppy parts, of course. It got a little out of hand, but the crowd is what I watch. The crowd is what I watch a lot of times, and it's difficult not to enjoy it because the crowd's into it. It just makes it better. And man, the Usos at the end there with the 1D off the second rope did such a fantastic job. I thought there were a lot of great moments in here, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. And you get reminded every once in a while, like the Brutes are actually a pretty good tag team. I didn't expect them to be that good. The Usos have been on another level for a very long time. We're getting into that tag team title reign record, as we'll talk about later. But it is difficult a lot of times to enjoy something like a tag match, especially if we felt like we've seen the Brawling Brutes against the Usos before. So, but they delivered. They over-delivered, I thought, and they did a fantastic job, a tremendous job. And I'm curious to see what happens because it looks like Jay may be injured with a wrist, but sometimes people work through injuries. But also, what exactly is going on with Jimmy Uso? I looked like on Monday he may have hurt himself too. So maybe somebody upstairs is saying, hey, let's get these championship titles off of them. They've done, yeoman's work. They'll get the record. I don't see them losing on SmackDown, but it's going to be a fun match on Friday. And now moving on to the main event. The main event, folks. Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. This was, to me, outstanding. Outstanding. I had expectations. Obviously, it was his third match. But you have to look at it like this, folks. It is so much fun. It is so much fun to enjoy something that shouldn't be happening. Like, Roman Reigns should have smashed Logan Paul. And he did at the end. But it didn't really work in some capacities. There are a lot of people out there believing, yeah, and I agree with Salzer. It was a fantastic match, Adam. But here's the other thing, right? If it was a fantastic match, there are people out there that said it is difficult to believe that a world champion, such as Roman Reigns, who put away Brock Lesnar not once but twice, was having a tough time with a celebrity. Now, granted, he's not just any celebrity. He clearly is training. He clearly has some athletic ability. He's strong. He's over 6 feet tall. He has amazing athleticism. But it was an interesting dichotomy for me when I was watching this, because this is what was fascinating. He's taking his 30 million followers, putting a giant spotlight on Saudi Arabia and WWE, and most importantly, the tribal chief Roman Reigns. And it was a great match. I mean, he had a great showing. That viral moment will live on forever. And I think that's what separates Logan Paul from the rest of the pack. That viral moment was great, and it's wonderful. And so let's see what Salzer says here. He says, and Roman sold it beautifully. His look of shock at the end of the match was like to say, what the fuck? And Adam, you make a great point, because it's difficult. It's difficult in a lot of ways to enjoy a match like this, because you're going to be sitting there thinking, oh, it's not good. It's not really that good. But they did a great job, because this is this kid's third match. It wasn't like he did like a 5-minute TV match or a 10-minute Raw or maybe a 10-minute pay-per-view match. He's been having longer matches, and you have to know a lot of repertoire for offense and defense for selling. And the difference maker that I really enjoyed about Logan Paul here is he knows what to do in between the moves. And that's what a lot of people miss. That's what a lot of people don't do in order to connect it to get a bigger scale. This guy was making certain movements, certain facial expressions in and around the match that it just added a sense of, well, shit, is he going to win? And he knew exactly when to be desperate. He knew exactly when to flaunt. He did a great job. He even had his boys get involved, which I thought was cool. And at least for me, if I was his friend, that'd be cool to get squashed by the Usos. That was pretty cool. Let's see what Salzer says here. So Logan being able to fight back like that on top for a bit really did surprise him. No, look, I tend to agree, and they did sell it really well with the one lucky punch, right? That's, it's tough. The one lucky punch thing, it's tough. And so the one thing I'm trying to understand here is, where do we go from here now, right? They had Jake Paul come out, and then Solo came out, and Solo couldn't look bad. But the other thing is, it's tough that, all I could think about was, man, Logan Paul, Jake Paul versus the Usos, and they beat them for the championships. That would send the world in a tizzy and a fire, would be hysterical to me. And as JC would say, let the world burn. But it's tough. It's tough because it's just not easy. It's just not that easy to get people talking. And man, those Logan Paul, and all his friends and his brother, they get people talking. They get people talking. So to me, I looked at Saudi Arabia as a plus. I enjoyed it from top to bottom. I thought it was great. It was so much fun. And I just couldn't agree more with people saying, this wasn't like an A++ effort, but it was fantastic. It was a great job through and through. I mean, obviously we can negate the Mac and, crossing the cage. But other than that, so Salza, you're saying you don't need to see Jake Paul again. I beg to differ. Because I think it was it's a celebrity, right? Like you're going to get more eyeballs on it. So why not more eyeballs, right? I don't care. Maybe they don't have to win. I mean, most celebrities do, but why does it matter? Salzer also giving his review here saying, some of the matches were snoozers for me, but it was passable. See, I think you're wrong about that. I think you're wrong because it's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. And I think you're wrong because there were some good matches in there. Yeah, Brock and Lashley had a wonky finish, but it was still pretty cool watching these hosses go at it. A lot of these things were great, I thought personally. So I'm going to give Saudi Arabia a strong B+. I thought it was fun. Crown Jewel usually has the innate ability to be very polarizing for people. Like either you love it or you hate it, right? So I say, obviously, they're doing a great job. They did a great job at the press conference, too. The press conference was great. I don't know. Glad I could be co-host with you. Do you want to co-host? I'll send you the link right now. If you want to co-host, here you go. I'll send it to you right now, pal. If you can do it. I don't know if this will work, but I don't know if that'll work, but oh well. If anybody wants to come in, there you go. We're seeing if Dommy can come back in, but I think he's having some issues. Moving on to parts of the shine. Let's get into the regular part of the show. This is weird for me to be the kind of by myself. I'm hoping that he can't. Anyway, here's the thing, folks. There wasn't a lot that was good this week on SmackDown and Raw, and I'm very, very hesitant to enjoy anything on Raw now based on what happened on Monday. But you know, we always show back up, right? We always show back up. When I'm looking through my notes right here for SmackDown, I'm going to start on SmackDown. I really did enjoy LA Knight making fun of the announcer, and then, you know, Ricochet coming in, boom. And of course, we have a lot going on here because it's kind of like a CD feud, but it's so much fun. Like, I enjoy LA Knight. I think he's a great pompous a-hole. And then on top of that, Ricochet's a great babyface no matter what he does, but he's defending in the honor of his actual girlfriend who's a ring announcer, which I think believable, realistic. And I think that's what the hallmark of a Triple H era is, folks, is flat out Triple H likes realism. He doesn't like the gaga. Well, he likes gaga. He doesn't like the nonsensical, you know, fantastic world of stuff. A lot of it is based in reality. And I think that's a good place to ground yourself because it's tough to think about things over and over again. But when it's realism, then you get that sense of uncomfortableness. And we always say uncomfortableness makes money. So I thought that was great. Moving on down SmackDown, there wasn't a lot going on here, but it's fun to see like the Bray Wyatt, him talking to the PA and freaking out on him, which again was the first crack at him doing something. That was good. But you know, it's difficult too that you kind of sit there and you think, okay, Bray Wyatt, what are you going to do? Like, he just keeps going on and showing cracks. No, I'm certain there are more, you know, intelligent people who are in charge of things than me, but it's hard. Like, as a fan, you're kind of waiting for something to happen, you know, and there's a lot of anticipation here, and it's tough because I think we're in a very much a instant gratification feeling when we, you know, whether we're on Twitter, whether we're watching at home, whatever the case is, we just want it now. So I'm sure the payoff will be there, but it feels like it's going to be light years away from some type of payoff. But okay, so here's Sal's just saying, I'm sincerely enjoying the Bray Wyatt segments, but yes, I don't know why he needed to go to Saudi Arabia. It's just tough because it's hard, folks. Like, you're looking at it from a perspective of, okay, Bray Wyatt's a name. Bray Wyatt's a big fucking deal, right? You need to have him everywhere, it seems. But we're not really doing anything yet. And I'm sure later on I'll look like a buffoon because I'm sure there will be trails of things in promos that will then eventually become something, and I should have been paying attention all along. But it's hard to acknowledge that on my television in the moment. Like, okay, what else are you doing for me? So I want to see if Uncle Howdy's going to do something. Is it Bray Wyatt? We don't know. It could be Bo Dallas. We don't really know. But I'm starting to lose interest if there's no advancement. And I think that's a fair criticism. I think it is, personally. If there's not an advancement in something, then what are we doing? We're just stalling because we don't have anything better to do? I don't know. I just think I'm leaving it up to the fans. You guys tell me what you think, because I'm curious what it is. I mean, it's stagnant for me. Salzer, you say they could have just done a little blink with Alexa and left it there. I don't think the promo added anything at Crown Jewel. I 100% agree with you. I think there's nothing going on. I mean, I'm interested in the Alexa Bliss stuff. I don't know if they're going to be a team or if he's going to go after her or whatever. But it's tough. Like, you want it to work out because you're such a big fan. Well, what else are we doing? Moving on, you know, I'm looking at stuff. The one thing I want to make sure we absolutely talk about here is the amazing, amazing job that Gunther and Rey Mysterio did in the main event of SmackDown for the IC Championship. They made it feel so important, and I love that aspect of it because we're stuck with the Tribal Cuck for the time being, it seems. So the IC Championship, United States Championship, are the ipso facto main titles, I guess. But I really thought it was a lot of fun. And there were a couple of things that made me smile because Rey Mysterio always reminds me, like, he's not my guy anymore. He was when I was a kid. I loved Rey Mysterio. But you always take for granted how good Rey Mysterio is. And I think that's the best part. Rey Mysterio did a great job in this matchup. And he did something I never saw, which was just the body slam and entangling his body around Gunther, right? Like, doing that, I thought was such a fantastic thing. I've seen a lot of wrestling. I've seen a lot of things go right and wrong, and I've seen it over and over and again. That I had never seen someone hook both their legs and their arms on somebody so they couldn't get body slammed. I thought that was such an ingenious thing here. And I'm curious to see what we go forward with, because Gunther's going to be kind of on a tear, I think, for a very long time. But where does Rey Mysterio go now, right? What do you do with Rey Mysterio? Can you do something with him? I'm sure you can. Man sells tickets and masks. The kid love him. But what are you going to do next? It's difficult. But yeah, I mean, the other thing that I thought, we'll go over to Raw. We'll do some shine in the Raw, like Mandy Rose, but there's not a lot on Raw that I think is, well, interesting enough to say great job. I really, really, really enjoyed on Raw the New Day starting the show with the Usos. I thought those four did a fantastic job. I'm going to stop before it becomes something else. I'm going to just talk about the promo. I thought it was a great promo about how the Usos were handed something to them and they continued their legacy versus the New Day, who have had basically been nothing, started from nothing. And they said the gimmick of a preacher, right? And then they had to overcome with Bootios and all these other things. And 2 out of the 3 were world champions. The other one was King of the Ring. That's very amazing that they made this 3-man group last for so long. Now, granted, you could say there are better 3-man groups. That's debatable. But the New Day's still around. The New Day's been the New Day throughout. They haven't stopped being the New Day. They've always been a team, or they've always, supported each other. They were never against each other. So I think they've done a fantastic job there. But I don't want to say what ruined it. We'll talk about that after the fact. I will say this much. There were a lot of jobber alerts on the show on Raw. It was very bizarre to me. I don't think it's bad. I like seeing JBL and Corbin talk. Cedric, I know this is going to hurt Jay-Z's feelings. Cedric, jobber alert, right? But again, we're just building up W's for, rehabilitating Corbin. And I think JBL does a fantastic job rehabilitating him as well on commentary. And watching Corey Graves and JBL talk, that makes me laugh. I think that's great. I don't know what you guys think, but I think that's a match made in heaven, personally. But yeah, it's tough. Going back to what Salzer said here, because he's on delay, obviously. Great promo from those two when he's talking about the Usos, basically saying he handed Kofi Mania and obviously beat the streak on Friday. So look, I agree. I think what the Usos are doing, fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. Moving on to something else I wanted to say, again, Otis and, Elias jobber alert. I was surprised that Otis and I just put the jobber alerts in here because I just love jobber alerts in general. Elias does what he does. Not much to talk about, but thank God Otis won, because I think Otis needs to go back to just mauling people. I think having him do the worm for 1 week sort of hurt him. So he needed a cleansing of some sort. And then finally, Shelton lost to A-Town Down. But, we'll talk more about A-Town Down later. The curiosity that I have, folks, going forward on Raw is we had a promo between, Seth Rollins at some point, and that got stopped and turned into the Judgment Day, which had Finn Balor in there, and that piqued my interest. Because Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, we know there's a history there. He even said it. You took gold away from me, I'm going to take gold away from you. Which I thought was a great line and wonderful. Just absolutely adored that idea. And then the OC came out, and I went, oh, is that going to be a triple threat match? With AJ Styles and Finn Balor. Let's get Dommy back in here. He's back, folks.
Wow.
He's back.
Fuck this. I am renting studio time from now on, Adam. I apologize. Fuck
No, it's
this.
okay. Who the fuck is Adam? Anyway, I got all the way through Crown
What's
Jewel.
going on?
I got all the way through.
Oh,
Crown
Jesus.
Jewel.
All right.
I had to stall.
Yep.
And I'm already in my shine, so I've gone through a lot already. But I will
Okay.
lay out and let you talk about anything Crown Jewel that you would like to talk about, or
Logan
anything
Paul.
in the shine.
All right, so we got through Lashley. Yeah, Lashley. How much did you hear? Like, how much did you get for that?
We got a lot of Lashley. You're okay.
Okay, fine, great. Yeah, Jake Paul. Sorry, Logan Paul.
Yes.
Right, Paul Logan. What the fuck's his name? Heartbroken that this kid has everything he did just in one jump, and now it's gone because of his knee injury, and that absolutely sucks. So, that this kid wasn't going to do wonders for the WWE, and now I don't know what's going to happen. So,
I tend to think when we didn't bring up the injury, I was just kind of talking about the match itself. But I will say this much: I really did enjoy the match, and I thought him, ruining his MCL, ACL, and tore his meniscus. That's a tough thing to come from. It could be 6 weeks, 6 months. We don't know. But here's the thing that I would say: he's probably not going to be doing much anyway. Like, he's going to be showing up when he shows up. He's not going to be in there every month. So
yeah, I guess that's where we're different. I felt like he was gonna be more of a full-time guy. Not full-time when I say showing up every week, but he was gonna be on a lot of pay-per-views, like at least the big ones. I thought he was gonna be heavily involved, at least like for the major pay-per-views.
6 months away is WrestleMania, so I don't think he'll miss that. I mean, the only one he'd really be missing would be Royal Rumble, but then what is he gonna be doing at Royal Rumble? So
nothing. I mean, I would be nice for him to be back in Mania, but that's his whole knee. It's ACL, MCL, and torn meniscus.
Yes.
That's usually 6 to 9.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 6, but okay.
Maybe it is. I mean, with all 3 of them torn at the same time, Jesus Christ, that feels like a lot. That he literally tore his knee up. So I don't know. Other than that, Crown Jewel, not much. Bailey is awesome. The way she hit the back of her head on the table, they didn't replay it, thank God. And getting through that match was incredible because it looked like, I didn't rewatch the bump, but it looked like she smashed the back of her head off the edge of that table, and I thought the match was going to be over. And the fact that it continued was a little scary, but good for her for getting through that.
Right, of course.
So
I've kind of train wrecked through the entire show now.
That's my fault, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It happens all the time. So basically, what I was talking about was I was doing jobber alerts and stuff like that because I always laugh at the jobber alerts. I thought those were great. I
love them. It's one of my favorite things on Twitter. Go ahead.
But it's hard for me to. I believe we were talking about the Judgment Day. It was Seth Rollins' promo. Then Finn Balor comes out. Then AJ Styles comes out, and I'm like, ooh, triple threat. This is something everybody wants, right? Triple threat. That's what we want on a pay-per-view. I don't know. And then of course Seth Rollins weasels his way out, and we have the 3-on-3, and then we have a person who appears and attacks Rhea because the Rhea problem is a Rhea problem. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm at least happy to see that there's something, So
it's gonna be feeding time. Like, we're feeding Mia Yim to Rhea Ripley, and that is it. Like, that's all she's gonna be used for. I apologize, Mia Yim, if you're watching this, but that's it. Like, if it's Rhea Ripley, this is Rhea's show. Mia Yim, this is the first and last time we see her. I think, if anything, the next time we see her after Rhea Ripley chews her up and spits her out, she'll be back down in fucking NXT. That's what I think.
Wow.
I don't think she brings anything to the table. She didn't bring anything to the table when she was here or in Impact. Just not a fan. She got a great look and she's tough, but that's what she's going to be used for, I think, man. And like, then Rhea Ripley backstage, they ask her about Mia Yim. She pretty much tells everyone not an issue. And then who does she run into, Nessel?
Belair.
Bianca Belair, which you just immediately just told me. Now I'm not giving a fuck about Mia Yim, and now it's on to Bianca Belair. Like,
sure.
Why even bother? And I kind of this is where I feel bad. Like, I shouldn't, but Jesus Christ, like, I don't know. And she doesn't fit. She would look better with Judgment Day. She doesn't fit with UFC. Yeah. Not what I was expecting to see for that person that was going to fill the void of the female role in the club, whatever they call themselves now.
Some might say she's back for Retribution.
What the fuck do you mean by that?
I'm just fucking with you because she was in Retribution with that fucking mask.
I forgot.
I'm just trying to fuck with you.
So great. Then you know what, Nessel? As much as you just pissed me off, put her with Ali, and I would have been fine with it. If you could have mixed something in right there, because he needs something. And like you said, you made a great point. Like, he's a baby face in the ring, but then he starts talking, and you fucking hate the kid. And I think we were having this discussion about someone else in the thread. I forget who it was. Logan Paul, I think. And same thing. Like, yeah, they need to figure out what they're doing with him.
I don't have much left in the shine here, I believe, because there's a lot there that I wanted. I enjoyed a lot on SmackDown, but we already talked about that. Is there anything that you want to talk about shine worthy?
Shine worthy. Let's see what we have here.
Because for me,
Hope.
she
the shine. No, it was already Logan Paul. So
Okay.
that was my shine, and just everything he's done up until this point, and how much of a backbreaker that is.
Let's get heaty. Let's
do it. Let's do it.
We can't. We got to rip the fucking Band-Aid off. This is the part I've been waiting for the whole night. Austin Theory cashing in his Money in the Bank for the United States title. What?
In losing.
They
couldn't even give the kid the US title, the NXT title. Like, is that a complete flush job on Austin Theory? Like, is that what we're doing here?
I don't know. I have no clue. I have no clue what's going on. I think we lost Dom once again. But it's tough because what do you do? You know, I mean, Austin Theory had a briefcase. He tried to cash in on all sorts of people. He tried to cash in multiple single times, but what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we doing? You know, it's tough because you're watching at home, right? And I have to agree to one of my friends, Atlee Green. This is for my boy Atlee. I think he put it on Twitter. Nobody misses Vince McMahon more than Austin Theory. And I couldn't agree more, Atlee, if that was you. What I am so upset about is what you did on Monday by having Austin Theory cash in was you devalued the Money in the Bank briefcase. You made it literally not necessary to have. He already won the United States Championship. Why would he need to use it to cash in? I mean, what would have been so bad? If he was going to lose anyway, why not just have him cash in on Roman at War Games? You know, it's a big pay-per-view. Have him lose after even Roman going through War Games. Something, anything. I mean, the fact that you put him through that on Monday made me feel like you didn't have any confidence in Austin Theory. You didn't have any, you just want to get rid of those things that you don't like anymore. It's like you don't want him to be a champion. You don't want him to be the guy. I get that. But you could have just had him lose and be just like a Baron Corbin, a John Cena who cashed in and lost, you know, a Damian Sandow, whatever. It's just, it's a trivial fact. Then he can be the youngest guy to cash in and lose, which I guess he technically is. But I'm so irked. I'm so irked. Oh, wait a minute. Super run-in, perhaps. Do I get a run-in here?
Where did Dom go?
Oh, my goodness.
Where did Dom go?
Oh!
We got
What the fuck? Wow, I
there.
apologize. Bring me on the show and all mayhem breaks loose. I apologize.
This is
great to see. Great to see your beautiful face. What's happening?
I look like somebody needed to come in for the save, so I
Thank
figured
you.
why not me, right?
I fucking appreciate you. Why not you?
You got
seriously.
We can't just have these people. You know how many people are going to log off if they get on and see literally just Nestle ranting and raving about God knows what.
It is complete amateur hour over here, and that is not Nestle's fault. So I apologize.
Oh man, I'm just out here. I'm playing frisbee with my dog, and all of a sudden I just see Nestle all by himself. I'm like, what are we doing right now?
What a save! What a
doing?
save! So very quickly, I was in my Austin Theory rant. I'm curious what you guys think about the fact that he cashed in on the United States Championship and lost. I think it devalues the briefcase, devalues Theory in the process, but more importantly, I think it sets a dangerous precedent for us to not give a shit about Money in the Bank going forward. Your thoughts? I'll go with Ray first.
I think it sets a dangerous precedent for us to not give a shit about Money in the Bank, as well as not give a shit about Austin Theory anymore. It didn't make any sense for me for him to cash in on a United States champion. The more I thought about it, the only reason cashing in on a mid-card title would make sense is if you're already locked in and on oh geez, here comes trouble.
Yeah.
Is if you're already locked in on like a solid, blood feud with a guy, and you happen to have the briefcase, and you just, so you want to take the title away from him to kind of push that along. But he hadn't really been doing anything with Seth Rollins, so there was just really no point, So yeah, I don't understand that at all. It doesn't really make sense, and yeah, I think it definitely hurt more than it helped.
I love this. Dom's having some trouble. We got Ray coming in. We got our boy Danny. This is awesome. Danny, what did you think of this cash in with the briefcase? I am curious.
I've still not seen Raw yet, but like I don't think Austin Theory should have anyway. It's only a Vince project, and as soon as Vince left, like he was losing that case somehow. He's never gonna beat Roman. That was never gonna happen.
No, but
no,
so here's,
but you
so here's
at least
okay,
got to give him the cash in on that. You got to at least let him, even if he fails, let him fail against Roman. Like, I mean, just good God. I mean, to lose to Seth Rollins isn't a bad thing either, because obviously Seth Rollins is a top guy, but it just, yeah, none of it made sense.
I will say this much. It makes me feel like, why would 6 people climb a ladder to get this thing? Now, why? Why would you endanger your body? It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, I think that's still the concept of Money in the Bank. It still makes sense, and it is very important. Because again, he didn't have to cash in on the United States champion. He could cash in on anybody that he wanted. Now, why he chose, like, if, to keep it like, kayfabe, whatever you call it, like why he chose the United States championship over everything else. That's the part that doesn't make sense. Like, why are you not going after the top title, and why are you not picking a better timing or a better opportunity, like to hold on to it for this long, to just go after the United States championship and Seth Rollins, who, is like, I don't know. I said, doesn't make sense.
If you're gonna risk losing, why'd you risk losing it to the US champion? You might as well lose to the top guy.
Right. Exactly.
Make
I
any
mean, I know
sense.
they teased the cash in Cardiff, which obviously got interrupted by Tyson Fury, so that was kind of cool. But none of it makes any sense to me.
So is there anything that you're interested in now with Austin Theory? Do you think like he's just done? Like, I will go to Danny first. Do you think that he's done?
I'm not really interested in him too much. Like I said to you earlier, I thought it was like a bit of a Vince project. To me, like, just he hasn't got anything different than anyone else, really. Okay. I don't know where he goes from here, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this guy's going to be destroyed. And I know I'm going to piggyback off of like what I think. This was a trifecta on Raw. We could talk about this in general, but so we kind of have the crucifixion, like not that crucifixion, but the crucifying of the Money in the Bank thing. But we also had Ali get thrown around like a little doll by Lashley. Fling, you're done, right? And then on top of that, we have Nikki, who wins the 24/7 title, which has been defunct essentially, wins it and then throws it almost in the trash. Hoop dreams, misses, goes in the floor, whatever. It seems like we're in a point here, folks, where we don't care about Ali. We don't care about Theory. We don't care about the 24/7 championship. It just seemed like this was a Raw that just everybody who wrote this thing decided to go, fuck it. I don't care what anybody says. Fuck it. We're just starting over.
Well, to me, the Ali stuff at least kind of makes sense, because I know him and Lashley were kind of going at it a little bit back and forth. I mean, obviously, to have Lashley destroy him is makes it a little bit different. But at the same time, like, at least that's the story that they're telling. Like, Ali is still upset at Lashley. He comes at him, and Lashley just destroys him, because Lashley's in this position right now where he's just out to hurt people, and he's just out to destroy anybody that's in his way. So, to a certain point, at least it made sense. Now, whether or not you liked it, whether or not you felt it was good, is a personal opinion. But at least in my mind, it made sense.
Okay, that's fair. Dom, you were still alive over there, bud?
I think so. Yeah, I'm just listening. I'll jump in at any point if I hear something, because God knows what the fuck's gonna happen. Who's that, dude? But you get house. Let's go.
We got all the buds here today.
Let's go. It's like a fucking Brady bunch right now.
I know, right? I'm so excited. I asked for help, and boom, there we go. Yeah. I got to save.
Teamwork makes the dream work, fellas.
JC is going to be so mad that I have 4 people talking right now. He's going to go,
yeah, buddy.
He's too busy. That kid's probably fried from his bachelor weekend. Holy shit.
Oh, please.
All right. So anyway,
I was stuck in an airplane for like God knows how long yesterday.
But you got paid to stick in that airplane, sir. You got paid.
That is true.
You got paid handsomely, I bet, too.
You're not wrong there.
Yeah. I see that nice house and that dog. I wish I had a house. Yeah. So I'd say give us a tour, but I don't think anybody else wants to see the tour of your house. But that's okay.
Anybody that's listening from New England understands what I'm about to say, which is the fact that I've got so many leaves in my yard right now, and I've got such a massive project ahead of me to pick all these up like I do every year. So anybody from New England feels my pain.
One thing we didn't talk about, I almost skipped over it because it was an advertisement, and I'm curious everybody's thoughts on this. The World Cup is back. No. Now I'm gonna let Ray go last because I know what he's gonna say. But because I know Ray, I want Danny or let's do Dom first in case Dom has an issue.
No, I have a great. It looks like these commercials. They're doing a great job with these commercials with that dude from Made Men. So that's all I wanted to say. I fucking love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. Anyway, go ahead.
So Danny, you saw World Cup. You got the international flavor for the Jobber Knocker. Were you excited? Do you not care?
I don't mind. I've got no problem with it. Just don't bring Shane McMahon back.
Oh,
I don't want to see that guy. Sorry, Ray. I know you're probably going to feel over it, but I'm sorry.
It wouldn't make sense to have it without him. He won it last time. He's the best in the world. He's got to come back and defend his title. That's all I got to say about that.
I almost put this in my hope that I was going to have somebody win and then have to challenge Shane McMahon because I think it just makes so much sense. But yeah, it's interesting to me because I don't know why they're doing it now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's all international folks, but it's gonna be a rough one.
They've been advertising a lot of like international stuff because like what Shinsuke's doing like something with New Japan, and then I saw somebody else I can't think of who it was though. I thought is also doing something with like either New Japan or one of those. So maybe they've kind of struck a deal or they've got a good working relationship with some of these
I
other
completely thought you guys were talking about something else. Yeah, Shinsuke and Great Muta. They're going to be wrestling for Noah January 1st. And that seems like a big deal to me. I mean, me and Conway were kind of talking about this the other night. You got Kyle Anderson on the roster. Yep. They're not showing that he's holding a title, but he has a New Japan title in his possession. And I said to Conway, I don't remember that ever happened. I think that's like unprecedented. I could be wrong, but that seems like a big deal, even though they're not making mention of it, that New Japan is saying, okay, you know what? We trust you enough to take this title and go over there with it and be on their show. So
our
I thought you guys were talking about something completely different. I apologize.
Our boy Topsy said, based on the flags in the promo, it might be international talent. I hope he's right.
What is this? I haven't seen it.
It was just on SmackDown. It was just like a random before we came back from break, and I went back and I went, wait, what the hell was that? So
I skipped right through it. Then I'll have to check it out.
I'm hearing that
I think they ran a promo during Crown Jewel as well.
Okay, well.
I think I can't remember.
Well, you were a little bit busy. How the hell would you know? FIFA starts on 11/20 is what my boy Adam Salzer says over here.
Yeah, so the football World Cup starts soon, so it might like in collaboration with that.
So maybe, but don't you think there's like weird cross pollination there, where like the World Cup's happening, nobody gives a shit about the WWE World Cup? I don't know.
Well, it's in Qatar.
Adam, I'm sorry.
It's in Qatar. WWE loves blood money, so link it all up.
It's definitely not the WWE All Atlantic Championship because by the time this is said and done, this is actually something that might mean a little bit of something.
Oh, you know what? So has anybody else got any heat? Because I want to get hopeful. I want to give a comeback, but I also want you guys to talk about AEW, and I don't want to go an hour and a half.
So fuck AEW.
There it is.
What?
I
We're
got
talking
two
AEW? Oh no, I gotta go. I got a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Well, I'm kidding. All right. Before we leave the heat, is there anything else that you guys absolutely grind your gears that we did not talk about that you're pissed off at?
Have you spoke about Cross and Drew yet? And their terrible finish.
I did in the Crown Jewel portion of the program where I was out talking by myself for 20 minutes, and then Ray said none of that. So Ray had to come on and help me. That cage match was rough. And my only thought was, why does a babyface need to escape? Right? Like, I don't know. Pinfall, that's fine. But when you escape from a cage after you've been maced, by the way, I don't know.
I didn't understand that. That pissed me off.
I don't know. It's tough. Anyway, we should get hopeful. You know, since you guys are here, I'm kind of putting you on the spot. But if you have a hope, if you'd like to, I will entertain all of your hopes this week. But it's a little rough. Dommy, do you got a hope?
I kind of got into it earlier, just that the beast Brock Lesnar comes back and fun-loving Brock goes the fuck away. And I want that. I don't want him pandering to the crowd. I want him coming back, hitting the apron, jumping around like an animal, coming in and wrecking shit because I hate the way that he finished up on Crown Jewel. So that needs to stop. Bring back the beast Brock Lesnar and let's do that.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Without fun-loving cowboy Brock Lesnar, we would have never got that amazing tractor spot at SummerSlam.
And that's why I loved it. That was
so
the best
cool.
Brock Lesnar we've ever got, and I'm so glad we got it. But I think the time is up, and it's time for old Brock Lesnar to come back. Would you say, Rog?
Get Brock involved in war games.
Yeah.
That's
what we want.
Wow.
He would beast that.
If he was his own team, like just Brock Lesnar was by himself. taking on 5 other guys, 10 guys technically. That'd be awesome.
That would be
Brock and his
awesome.
tractor.
Just fucking throwing people around like pizzas, just fucking woo. It'd be great. Fucking
That'd
great.
be wild.
So
Like Brock versus like Ali, Mysterio.
oh yeah. The
Throws him
combined,
out of the fucking
the
cage.
combined
Literally.
weight of the 5 guys has to be the combined weight of Brock Lesnar. That'd be great. So it's too much. So I will defer to Ray or Danny. Do either of you have a hope that you would like to incorporate into the show? Excuse me.
No, just like I say, just the Brock at Survivor Series in the War Games for me.
Okay.
Anything I can think of at the moment.
Okay. Ray, got anything?
Something I've kind of had in the back of my mind for a while now, honestly, and it's interesting because I think, I know that we don't usually acknowledge obviously the dirt sheets and stuff, but a few people have been talking about how supposedly there's a rumor out there that Triple H has an idea of who he wants to dethrone Roman for that undisputed championship.
Oh, boy.
And for me, in the back of my mind, I've always thought and I've always wished it would have been, it's more of like a younger up and coming talent. And while I can't say I have anybody specific off the top of my head, look, I know Cody Rhodes would be a great moment, but for me, I don't know. Like he's an established guy. He's a veteran. He's obviously been around. I know he's kind of new back to the WWE, but he's more of an established guy. I would rather it go to, somebody that's kind of younger, somebody that's kind of up and coming, somebody that can use it. Kind of like the complaint I think we had going back to Brock Lesnar, which was like him being the one to end the Undertaker streak, and the fact that a lot of people, when that happened, their biggest gripe was that, Lesnar's already this like big time established guy. It should have went to a younger up and coming talent, somebody, maybe like a Bray Wyatt at the time, or an Aleister Black if we had waited like a little bit longer or something like that. So that's just something I've always I've been personally kind of thinking about for a while when people have had the discussions about who should dethrone Roman and who should take that title off of him. For me, like I said, I think it needs to go to somebody younger and kind of up and coming.
Wait, who do you have anyone? Do you have anyone in mind?
I don't.
You can't give us all that and then not give us a talent,
Well,
right?
That wasn't even a hope. That was him spewing for 2 minutes about nothing.
I know it was such a great build-up, and then you didn't give me the fucking
nothing.
right?
Look,
Nestle,
like I said, I haven't been able.
I
know it's tough because he just got buried, but I think like somebody like an Austin Theory would have been a great pick. You know what I mean? Like this is a young guy.
Terrible. You gave all that build up, and that was a fart at the end. That was a fart.
I have to come rolling in here and save this podcast from you babbling on and bitching and moaning about God knows what.
To be fair, you did come in, then Danny came in, then Dom came back, so you get 1/3 the credit.
I was
33 and a third %.
I'm not prepared. I don't have any notes. I haven't done any thought whatsoever. I logged in.
Any of the shows.
I logged in to just enjoy a nice podcast, and instead I got a full screen of your mug just sitting there spewing away at everything that you hate in the world and all the fun things that you probably didn't enjoy this week on Raw and SmackDown. Okay, and now you're going to sit here and give me a hard time because I can't come up with who should dethrone Roman Reigns off the top of my head. Okay,
oh my God.
Right. How about throw some names at you?
I'm hearing a lot of
names at you.
Hearing a lot of wham.
A guy like Gunther would be great. I think a guy like Gunther would also be great, and he's been killing it. The only thing with him is he's such a big heel. Like, I think it's got to be like that babyface win. Now, could he get the cheers? I mean, absolutely. But
all right, let's move on. Well, I gave you a lot of shit, but let's move on. All right, my hope very quickly, because I can be concise, unlike Ray, is that on what we've decided last night on Monday was that Nikki Cross is part of the Women's War Games match. Belair needs 2. Clearly, it is going to be Sasha and Naomi. We can all agree it's in Boston. The boss will get the biggest reaction. It'll be a big moment. I say you save it to Survivor Series. Do not, under any circumstances, give it to us before Survivor Series. Let us wait, simmer on it. Let's do it. And then, of course, boom, there they are. And Sasha Banks turns on her babyface team to join Damage Control, because that's the shot in the arm we need. We need some type of adrenaline here, because Damage Control is basically a wet fart. Adding Nikki Cross does nothing, in my opinion. So having maybe even Naomi's fine too, but I think Sasha and Bayley have that connection, and that's what I want. That's what I want. Give it to me. That's what I want.
Damn it! I'm trying to sit here and be mad at you about everything, and you come up with a great hope like that. I don't even know what.
Yeah, I mean,
anymore.
well, that's
Yeah,
what
nothing.
happens
That's
when you're
me. That'd be great.
prepared. When you're prepared and you're not like the poor. You have a pergola, by the way. Is that a pergola behind you?
A what?
A pergola.
heck's
Do
a
you know what a
pergola?
pergola is? The top
I
of the
don't
roof,
even know what-
silly.
Oh, that
Get
thing? Oh, yeah,
fancy.
yeah. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's just the roof of my porch. I don't want me to tell you. I'm outside.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
outside. I'm actually pretty depressed right now because the reason I'm outside is because I'm putting away all my Halloween decorations. So,
Well, we know that Halloween's very important to Ray. We know that. We know
I
that Ray
it's
loves
absolutely
Halloween.
brutal.
By the way,
Well,
Ray,
Kelly Kapowski's going away for the
you and I don't agree on a lot, Ray, but we both love Chucky, and we both love that JC hates talking dolls. So we'll forever have that bond. And I'm gonna ship
fantastic.
him. I'm gonna ship him a good guy doll one of these days. That's all.
You know what we should do? We should kidnap him next year because I don't know if you saw, but Universal Studios announced their first haunted house for next year's Halloween Horror Nights, and it's a Chucky theme.
Ooh, I like that.
We should get Jobberknocker on the road and
That would be
head
fun.
down there and force him to go through that house.
This has been a banner day. Dommy was supposed to take over. Obviously he's having issues. You guys step in and help. This is great. Besides JC in a pool, I think this is a banner day to have quite a foursome right now. So
I'm
it's
waiting.
pretty good.
I'm waiting for him to log in from the pool again, but I don't know if it's happening.
Fuck JC.
You know,
Oh, what a heel. What a heel. Okay, so you know what?
fuck that guy.
It's time for our comeback. I'm curious. You guys have, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but is there anybody that you would give your comeback to this week?
Well,
Mia
Yim's
Yim, I
gotta be
guess.
right up the top.
You both
Yeah,
said
I
Mia
mean,
Yim. Give me a goddamn break.
I'm not a fan of Mia Yim,
what am I
but
gonna tell you?
All right, look. Mia Yim isn't the person that's going to assert herself into the situation that's going to get rid of Rhea Ripley. You can both agree with me on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could see what you're saying, but I mean, I don't know. I'm willing to give her a chance. She literally just showed up this week. We haven't even seen much of her, so I mean, you
I don't know.
got to give
I
it
just-
a chance, man. You
I'm
got to
just-
let things play out.
I can't do this. I don't understand how Mia Yim is going to really take care of Rhea Ripley. You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents.
She handled her pretty well on Monday night, so
Yeah, because that was her debut. Anybody looks good in their debut.
well, we'll see what happens next week. I guess you never know. She whips
Oh.
her ass again next week. You're gonna look like quite the idiot. And when they win at War Games, you're gonna look even
Well,
dumber.
yeah, the OC has to win at War Games. We've already discussed that the Judgment Day are jobbers to the stars. They always
Oh, no.
lose in the big moments. It is what it is. Come on.
We'll
And the
see.
Judgment Day
We'll
is missing
see.
an E in their name. How do I take them seriously if they're grammatically incorrect? Come on. Copyright aside.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
I was going to
Let's
give
I think
my,
we don't have Joe here.
that's all. You know, ask Leo now. Someone with a wrestling brain. Ask him.
Leo, thank you for being on the program. Do you enjoy Mia Yim? And is Mia Yim going to get rid of Rhea Ripley? Yes or no?
No.
See? He's smart. He knows. Dapper young man, too. Look at that suit jacket. It's way better than mine.
right?
Guy from
Like
school.
side by side comparison. Is that just an everyday jacket, or are you going somewhere?
No, it's a high school jacket.
That's a school jacket?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
You have to wear a blazer for school.
That's awesome. I'm sure he doesn't like wearing it, but that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Anyway,
nice.
so
Good
Mia
stuff.
Yim, again, Mia Yim, not a big factor, but it is what it is. My comeback is going to go to guess who? Johnny Gargano for having the best segments of the week.
Oh, get out of
With
here.
that private investigator moment on Raw. Probably the worst segment, I think, besides the 3 we talked about. Do you guys like the Johnny Gargano miss thing? Is it good? Because I'm not enjoying this at all.
It's filler.
No, it's not just
I don't
filler.
know,
It's
It's just
awful.
filler.
For me, I think it's been kind of hit or miss, like on any given week. Because I know there's been some weeks that I have really enjoyed it, and then others where I'm just kind of like, all right, they're just pushing it along at this point. So it's like the week, what was it? Like a week or 2 weeks ago when the Miz kind of faked slipping in the back area, and then Gargano kind of called him out, and then like fooled him into jumping up, and he was supposed to have a match and all that. Like that, I thought was really good. I thought that was interesting. I thought it was a good way to kind of weave that story throughout the night. But yeah, I mean the stuff this week, and what did he come out with, like a universal remote that like somehow worked on like the Tron, like that kind of stuff. I thought that was kind of weird, like seemed kind of be out of nowhere. But you know, other than that, like I said, I think it's been kind of hit or miss.
No, I get you. But look, Johnny Gargano, I jokingly gave him my comeback. I did like that they tried, but I feel like we talked about last week where, you had this moment, that you thought was really cool. Like, are you telling the truth? Are you telling the truth? We get this weird payoff, right? And now we're getting in this situation where it's like he's got the universal remote to the Titantron, rewinding things, fast forwarding things, and it's just it makes the Miz look bad, even though the Miz can't really look bad, right? But then I feel like Johnny Gargano, this is his first outing. To me, I feel like you need to do something really good for him. So,
yeah, no, I agree. That's what, like I said, I think it's been kind of.
my boy Adam
And I'm
Salzer
curious to
said,
see
my boy Adam
how it
Salzer,
wraps
excuse
up.
me, said he enjoyed Gargano playing all the parts in the dramatic reenactment. Yeah, well, that was last week, Adam. This week was terrible. Terrible. The whole Raw needed a rewrite, in my opinion. I thought Raw across the board mostly was just the drizzling craps, just everywhere.
Yeah, it seemed that way, and I think I know a lot of people were not pleased with the live crowd, which they were in Wilkes-Barre, I believe. So
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, Wilkes-Barre is not the biggest city in the world either, so who knows what kind of population they got out there. But I know a lot of people weren't happy with the live crowd because like even the stuff that was kind of good and even the stuff that was entertaining, they weren't reacting to either. So and it was tough because they were coming off of Crown Jewel, which I know a lot of people said they thought that the Crown Jewel crowd was really hot and seemed to really be enjoying the night. So it's tricky. You can't all be winners.
It was a bad crowd. It was a very bad crowd for Monday night.
Yeah,
it made everything flat, and it doesn't help at home. So Dom, I gave my comeback to Johnny Gargano sarcastically. Do you have a comeback that you would like to talk about?
We're probably not going to have enough time to get into it, but Rampage as a whole, awesome show. The way they set up everything coming into full gear, I thought they did a great job. I don't watch Rampage a lot. I haven't watched it in probably a month live. Maybe I was paying close attention to it because I knew I was doing this, but the way they set up things heading into full gear for like the undercard shit with Jericho and the four-way dance for the ROH title, even though, like I said to you earlier, probably going to be the drizzling shits. They made everything make sense, and now we're wondering who's going to fall apart first, JAS or Blackpool Combat Club. I know at the end of the day, no one really gives a shit, but at least they made it interesting in the backstage promos and how it all came together. It didn't sound like a giant fucking mess for once when putting a match together like that. Even the stuff with Hayter and Britt Baker, as much as I could care less about the both of them, they did a good job of explaining what's going on and what might happen down the roads to keep an eye on. So they didn't do it AEW style where it was fucking messy and like, what the fuck? Why is all this happening right now? Like they did a good job at explaining it.
Transition. As we talk in the business, no transitions when it comes to AEW. It's just fucking boom, on to the next fucking thing.
Right, exactly. I feel like Rampage transitions smoothly, I guess, in a shorter format. So
I can't believe
that's my comeback.
Here's the thing. We've always discussed this. Rampage, AEW, well, AEW Dynamite less, but Rampage more. There's like always one thing I want to see and then 400 things I don't give a shit about.
Right. And now
It
they're
always
making those
gets
things
me.
you don't give a shit about. They're at least making it interesting. They're putting some emphasis on it.
Ray, I know you're boiling because we're talking about AEW and a comeback here, but how do
Sorry
you
about
feel?
that, Ray.
Would you
Sorry.
ever voluntarily watch AEW or AEW Rampage?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to figure out how you're going to scream at me and Danny for giving our comebacks to Mia Yim, and Dom gave his comeback to a television show that's on every week, and yet somehow you're gonna applaud that and say, "Hey, great comeback, pal, good job."
It's called good reasoning. It's called good reasoning. It's called logical reasoning, Ray.
Logical. Mia Yim came back after not being in WWE for months, almost a year.
All right.
She almost sucks as much as this boy Von Vega and fucking Braun Breaker. Get them all out of my face. Get them off my TV. Yeah, Nestle, you fucking Von Wagner out. I don't want to see Braun Breaker anywhere on my TV on Tuesday nights. I don't. I'm fucking done. The turbo shot has kicked in.
You're going to give your comeback to a television show that's been on this entire time because they had one good episode.
Because they did a great
year that they've been on. Yeah.
So
my congratulations, Rampage.
They did a better job than Raw this week.
Welcome back, pal.
All right, time out.
I got your comeback. They should be like their debut. It's their debut.
Hold on. I'm going to mute both of you in a second if you don't knock it off.
I'll mute myself.
I am a dad through and through. I will turn this podcast around. All right. My boy Adam Salzer says, the proper response when someone asks, did you watch Rampage is, why would I? That's his response. Why would I watch Rampage? It's at 10 o'clock at night when SmackDown's already happened. I've already got my 2-hour fix. It's a tough market, especially when you've got random people I don't give a shit about. But anyway, that's called a segment.
If it wasn't coming on the show, I wouldn't watch it.
And it's a transition, as we call in the biz, because now we're in the big old finish. We might as well start with AEW because Ray's here, and I want to see him get a little upset about stuff. AEW this week, folks. Are you excited for AEW? Let's take a look. This week on AEW, you have the Acclaimed and FTR taking on Swerve in Our Glory and Austin and Colton Gunn in an 8-man tag. That's right, folks, an 8-man tag. Ray has gone away. If you can't see, if you're only listening,
my God.
Ray has blacked
Are you
out his
fucking
screen because we're
kidding me?
talking about
Sorry.
AEW. I don't care about
I
anything.
love that we can't see you.
So AEW has an 8-man tag starting off hot. Nobody cares. All right, moving on. We have Ethan Page versus Eddie Kingston in a world title
Ethan Page.
eliminator. They've never described to me what an eliminator is.
Why
but I
is
have
this
to
tournament
use-
here? You know where they explain it to you on Rampage. Watch it.
No thanks.
No, I don't think. No, the Eliminator is not the championship. So they're what they call
It's a
world
number
title
one
eliminators.
contender. It's a number
just
one
a number
contender.
one contender match.
And
They
this
just
is in my
call it
notes. I don't
something
know.
different to make it seem more important than it is because that's
And
all
why
they
was
are,
Moxley?
gimmicks.
And why was Moxley in the match? Why was he in the tournament?
Oh,
Like,
who knows?
I don't know.
I know. I didn't understand. Like I
Who
said,
knows?
I know. Their reason is the
Moving-
shit.
Because they're
Okay.
and they're running another tournament. Yeah, they're running a whole other. Didn't they just have a tournament last month? Now we're doing another.
Loves
one. How many
tournaments.
tournaments do you
Well,
need
I mean, running
Because he
tournaments
doesn't know how
isn't
to book
all.
for shit. He can't.
He doesn't, but he also had CM Punk destroy fucking everything. They had to run what,
Where
2
do you
tournaments because of this guy,
Ugh.
and then and Adam
Here comes
Handman
Ray.
Page is nowhere to be found. The savior of AEW, the biggest fucking babyface on the roster, and you pull him from fucking TV. That's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant, Tony.
Well, is he still nursing?
Unbelievable.
Is he still nursing? Isn't he hurt?
He
Just
is
put him
hurt.
on TV.
He's still
Just
hurt.
let him know we
That is right.
exist.
Yeah,
R-
good
thi-
point.
I did not expect this much talking about AEW. Oh my! All and
I love it.
Salzer says all tournament wrestling is what they should be called.
Yes.
I agree with Salzer. Let's put up another title. Yeah, exactly. I agree. So look, I'll also a JC special, by the way, Sky Blue taking on Jamie Hayter. I don't think there's anybody that can complain about that, especially JC.
Oh,
So,
sir.
we're gonna move on to,
Sky Blues on my TV. I'm watching.
and finally, yeah, with the volume off. And finally, not Bray Wyatt, Bryan Danielson taking on Sammy Guevara in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Do you care? Is it a waste of your time? Is wrestling really that big of a draw? I doubt it.
It's not. Is Sammy Guevara that big of a draw to be in the 2 out of 3 falls and be a main event on this show? He's not. Get him the fuck out.
I mean, why is my question? Like, why? Like, why? Like, what's the point? Why are we doing it? You know,
He said he wants to prove that without a shadow of a doubt that he can beat Brian Danielson. Thank you.
Same thing.
So he wants to do it twice in one night. That was his reasoning.
Oh, great, solid.
What
Good stuff.
a harebrained idea that is.
Yeah,
All right.
Just like you.
fantastic.
So I think I may have missed. Oh, there's a Dr. Britt Baker and Saraya promo, which I assume she'll say she's actually cleared, as we all kind of cringe and our assholes pucker up and tighten because we're worried about her health. Hopefully, she's
I
gonna
bet
be
one of
okay.
them calls the other one a bitch.
And then they start a fight.
I bet that's what
Yay.
happens.
AEW loves promoting people that have bad health, like Shibata. They made the Shibata versus Orange Cassidy match immediately uncomfortable by talking about how if he gets one bad strike to the head, he's pretty much fucking done. Well, thank you for laying that out before the match even starts. And now I'm ridiculously nervous watching this kid in the ring because they had a hemotome in his fucking head. That not almost ended his career, almost ended his fucking life. And then you mention it seconds before the bell rings. So now I'm terrified watching this kid.
So now it's not all tournament wrestling; it's all anxiety wrestling.
Seriously, what the fuck are we doing? But they're doing it with Saraya too, so that's a good point.
It's tough. So obviously nobody cares about Wednesday. It seems Wednesdays are for not the boys. I guess
it's in Boston. It's in Boston, so I
Are
guess.
you guys
Is anyone
going?
going? I'm
going.
trying. If the ticket price is right, I'll slide in. But right now they're like $70 for balcony. I am not fucking doing that.
Right?
I'll
Have
say
you
that much.
ever been asked to work an AEW event?
No, not yet. At least I do know some people. I do know a few people that are working. I know a few people that are going. Actually, I did get an invite to go to the show. But I'm home for like 2 days this week, and if I bail
okay.
on one of those days to go watch wrestling, my wife might just murder me.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
That's
That's
fair.
fair. You gotta.
She watches nothing but true crime documentaries, so I 100% know she could do it, and she will get away with it because she knows exactly what to do and what not to do.
That's a fucking
So,
terrifying thought.
I got to be careful.
I would love to have a conversation with your wife about Dexter, the show Dexter, and if she thinks that dumping a dead body in the fucking the little canal gets rid of bodies.
Yeah.
Like, come on. What a terrible writing device that was. But whatever, that's beside the point.
I still enjoyed it though. Dexter was a good show.
Very quickly, it was a good show. Very quickly, Adam Nessel, the person, and Nestlemania is excited. We're going to go to NXT now because there is a Grayson Waller effect. Get excited for this, folks. Braun Breaker talking to his new challenger. Woo, woo! Von Wagner. That's right, folks. Your worst nightmares have come true. That means the Von Wagon could be next, could be the next NXT champion, and I will be insufferable if that happens. I can already tell you.
I'm going to stop watching NXT if that happens. I'm going to stop. Completely stop
What is
watching
so
NXT.
bad about the Wagon?
He brings he's gotten better. I'll give you this. In the ring, he's gotten better. What do Von Wagner and Braun Breaker bring to the main event picture in NXT? What, other than me want to change the fucking channel every time I see their face?
What if it's a triple threat match though? What if Waller gets involved?
Okay, so now you're telling me, just like this show, the Waller effect, he is the only reason I'm going to watch these two guys. So that means Grayson Waller is your next NXT champ. If he's making them important, then he's the factor, not these two guys.
Okay. I think you guys should
I've
all
had a
get on the
tough
wagon.
time.
Listen.
I like Stone.
Listen, I don't like Stone,
I
but
know.
that's a whole other thing.
I understand, right? As a
not gonna get
character,
into
I
that.
like. I understand. As a character, I like Stone.
Vaughn, he said Salzer, I will disown you. I can kick you out of this chat. He called him Jan Wagner. Jan Wagner.
I fucking love that.
I hate you. What are you doing to me, Salzer?
Nobody's getting on your wagon, Nestle. Nobody cares. Yeah.
Fine. You're all getting dysentery.
Brutal.
That's what I
I mean,
say.
you
You're not
got
getting on my
a
wagon.
couple months.
What are we on the Oregon Trail?
That was an Oregon Trail
God.
reference. JC
That
wouldn't
was
have
a
got
solid
that.
Oregon
Thank God I
Trail.
got the old folks in here with me to know that one. They played that game. I'm dating
Right.
ourselves, of course.
Dude. You got
All right, and
children
finally,
in the 80s and the 90s.
and finally, we have Carter and Chance defending their titles against Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. Round 2. Does
Yikes.
anybody care? I don't know.
I care.
Not about. Sorry, good. Right.
No, well, I mean, I've enjoyed Casey and Kate
Yes.
this whole time. I was glad that they won the championships. Obviously, Nikita Lyons is she's something. So
I don't
you
care
know.
about Zoe Stark. That's what hurts all of this.
Yeah,
So-
Zoe
Yeah,
Stark's
I mean, I think-
terrible.
So I'm with Ray on that. Like the 3 out of the 4, I love, but Zoe Stark brings it down so much for me that even when it does branch off into her and Nikita, I don't give a shit. Another one that brings nothing to the fucking table ever.
well, I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. So we're all on Team Nikita, and then Guthrie's on Zoe Stark. So you know what I mean? That means everybody's watching and
That's true.
everybody's invested. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I got nothing wrong with Zoe Starks, but yeah, I do hope that this leads to obviously. First of all, like no more matches with these 4 women, and then hopefully a potential one of them turns on the other. We break up Nikita and Zoe Stark, so we move on from that to something else as well. So,
Zoe Starks does nothing
Perfect
for me.
10, right?
I think she's just so generic, just generic enough.
That's what it is. It's very generic.
All right, so I think we're good. At least we did the best we could without him. I assume next week JC will give me all sorts of nonsense because I had to have Ray help me, Danny help me, and Dommy. We got
I
to get you a better
apologize, JC.
internet connection, my man.
I'm telling you, man. I literally. Do you think I'm joking? Watch, the fucking studio is coming. I don't give a fuck
What are
how
you-
much it costs because I am
what do you
done
want,
with this.
What, you want some dial-up over there? You
Dude,
want a
it
56K
feels like it.
modem or
Like the
something?
Verizon router is like probably came with the house in 1987. I don't know what to tell
What,
you.
somebody,
Like, it's a
did somebody pick up the phone and kicked you off the internet? What happened?
shut the phone up.
56K is what we're going to call him from now on. 56K dial-up. All right. On that note, thank you, boys, for jumping in and helping an old man get through an
Thank
hour of
you, guys.
wrestling
Especially
talk. You
you.
guys
Thank
have been
you.
awesome. I appreciate it. We will be back next week with more Jobber Knockery.